Alrighty. Welcome to another edition of ReEducation Podcast. I, Karen O'Toole, am joined by the illustrious, the heroic, the articulate Collin Miller, who, ladies, is a homeowner. I'm just going to throw that out there because we just want to make that known. And also a fan of cats. I have to tell you, Collin, I was in line at Walmart last week and a woman was speaking with this gentleman in line at the checkout. And she said to the cashier after he walked away, she said, heavens me, a handsome man that loves cats. And she said to the, the cashier, and she's like, God forgive me, I'm married. She felt so bad about it. But I thought she was saying that she didn't like cats. So I wasn't sure what was transpiring, but I found out after a minute. She told me what was happening. But I thought, you know what? I need people to know before we get into our conversation that because we try to set you up with Britney Spears, Laura Loomer, a few other ladies.
It
But
hasn't,
you,
none of these
yeah,
have worked out
none of these,
yet.
yes,
Okay.
yet.
I'm not
Okay.
even saying that I've completely given up on any of these potential prospects. Each of them I feel like would have their own advantages and disadvantages. First off, Karen, thank you for that lovely introduction. We're changing it up a little bit here on
Yes,
the
yes.
ReEducation Camp podcast. Karen giving the old intro. And we're starting off a little bit later here than originally planned, Karen, because, well, first off, I woke up later this morning than I wanted to. I slept in really, really late until like close to 11 because the night before I was over my cousin's place watching SummerSlam. SummerSlam was last night, which was Saturday. And I don't know why these pay-per-views are on a Saturday now all of a sudden. Back when I was growing up, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, etc., it was always on a Sunday. So I was out late watching SummerSlam. I came home, I got home around like 11:30ish, decided that I was hungry for some French fries. So I cut up a nice russet Idaho potato
Oh
and
wow,
drizzled.
homemade fries. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am a big advocate of homemade French fries in the air fryer. They're really the only way to go. It's a healthy option. It's better than going to McDonald's. I'm sure that they put sugar in their French fries. I have no doubt.
A homeowner, a cat lover, and a French fry, a homemade French, a chef, essentially, homemade French fry maker. It's like an
Base
officer and a gentleman, pretty much. Like,
pretty much, and I'm gainfully employed as well
yes,
too.
yes. So, yeah.
I'm gainfully employed. I like quiet nights at home every night. I really I'm not a fan of going anywhere. But just to circle back to my original thoughts,
Yes.
I woke up late this morning and I was like, son of a bitch, we have this impending tropical storm, Debbie, on the horizon here. And I had started mowing the front lawn yesterday. Of course, like within 5 minutes of me getting out there, it started to pour rain, which it does every single day here in Florida during this time of year around 3 p.m. We have the 3 p.m. tropical storm. So when I woke up, I was like, all right, I got to get this front lawn has got to be mowed and weed whacked in preparation for Debbie. And I need to run out to the store. I need to get some bread, some milk, some cheese, etc., and so forth, some ice cream sandwiches. There was a buy one get one free a BOGO on the Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches. I think I've told you about these before.
Okay. Yes. 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 You've told me that I
Show more
should eat them, but
enthusiasm here, but the ice
yes,
cream
yes, I have
sandwiches,
to eat
like
the ice cream sandwiches. Sorry, I'm not as I love ice cream sandwiches. I love
okay, good. Yeah, because my parents recently turned me on to these things. They I was over their place for 4th of July, I guess, and they had these Fat Boy ice cream
the Fat Boy.
sandwiches.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And you said
I'm all
they're
about them now.
square, not are they square or rectangular?
They're square actually. Yeah, I think they're
Mm.
square.
I feel like that gives you a sense of like it's an elevated ice cream sandwich experience. Like if you have it a little, do you understand what I'm saying? Like a little bit different. The standard rectangle is just for like the plebeians.
Those remind me of
Is
grade school. because we
Yes.
used to be able
Yeah.
to order ice cream sandwiches and snacks and stuff. Like we would order, we would place our snack orders in the morning in like the third grade because snack time was at 10 a.m. So it used to be like a quarter or 50 cents or whatever. I used to get the party mix. I was a big fan of the party mix. You know what I'm talking about.
I know the
You get the
Utz
cheese
party
doodles, the
mix. Yeah.
pretzels,
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
Doritos. But
Mm-hmm.
then after
Good
lunch, I
stuff.
remember we used to be able to order ice cream, and they used to have those rectangular, traditional ice cream sandwiches. But yeah, so I got turned on to the Fat Boys. I got a BOGO on them. Really super excited. Cooked myself a nice, grilled up some burgers in the air fryer for lunch. So I'm really just all hunkered down here. Me and Shadow the cat are hunkered down, ready to do this storm. Prepared for this storm. Rather ready to do this podcast. And well, what do you think, Karen? First topic
First,
that we
no,
want to get
first, we're
into.
not talking anything. You were reading an article to me, and Colin exclaimed, I would marry this woman immediately. And he found her in the most important publication of our time, the Daily Mail, on the Daily Mail's website.
Yes.
So please, he has not told me, he has not pre-explained what this woman is like. He just was so excited. And I said, you need to share this with our audience. So what who is this this lucky female?
Well, I was scrolling down, as you said, catching up on all the latest headlines from
Hmm.
the illustrious Daily Mail. And I saw this girl's picture and I saw the headline, and I'm like, this is like very close to what I'm looking for in a future wife, somebody to like raise a family with and have children with and all that stuff. So let me preface this by saying I am looking, ideally, I want my future wife to have like very little, if any, experience with any other guys. Like I get like really turned off. Like if I was talking, the last date I had was like this girl who I had over my house. And
Hmm.
she starts asking me like all these, let's say personal questions, and like her body count, as the kids say, it was like three guys. It's like three guys. Oh my God. Like you're like a human bacteria frap at this point. Like I want somebody with very, very little, if any, experience. I don't want to be compared to anybody. I don't want, any,
You want
well,
like a Mennonite. Like
yeah, it's like I don't want to be like, oh well, Steve used to do this. No, 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 no. I can't have that. It's just too much pressure. So I found, well, first off, let me read the headline to you. This girl, exclusive, Daily Mail exclusive. I'm a
just
33-year-old
good.
virgin and have never ever been on a date. There's nothing wrong with being a late bloomer. And it goes on to say,
Oh,
at
I just
33, Lauren Harkins has never been on a date or had sex, but insists she hasn't missed out on any important life experiences and is content on her own. Now, let me show you. You have to see the
I love how
photograph.
this is an exclusive piece
This
of
is a
the
Daily Mail exclusive, Karen. This is a very
I
important
mean, it's
story.
kind of become such a rarity. And I have to say, you don't have to be a Mennonite to be this. I know
No,
a few women who fall in this category who are wonderful people. And I think it is for some people, it's an important thing. It's absolutely. So okay,
that's
show us the
attractive
picture.
to me. That
Yes,
that
that I think
is
that's probably
in the
attractive to
plus
many
column.
men. Yes. All right, let's see.
It's like, oh, I don't have to
Oh,
be compared to
I have to
anybody.
make you, yes. So to share the screen.
I think I can share it.
Oh, okay.
Can you
You are?
see?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so here
There
she
you
is.
go.
Here's
Yes,
the
lovely.
Miss Lauren Harkins. Let me scroll down here. So look at this girl. Look at how lovely she looks. She's got
She is lovely. Good
I
for
love like
her.
a very like European looking like platinum blonde sort of
European.
Aryan look. I love that. She's got nice hair. It looks like she's really loving life. I mean,
Looks
look
like
at
she's
here.
out
She's like,
traveling the
yeah,
world.
yeah, she's
Wow.
out traveling the world. Like, look at her. Like, I would like to sit across from this woman over like a bowl of tortillas and salsa. Like, look at her.
Yes. Yes.
Don't,
Yeah.
don't you agree? She looks like a lovely young girl. Lauren is embracing trying new things and is now traveling the world after working in a correctional law enforcement for 2 years. Look at her here.
She's been
Now
all
let's pull up a
over.
full. Can we pull up a full profile shot here? I can't enlarge it. Here she is with a pig on the beach. Look at it. She's got a little
Yes. That's awesome.
little baby pig.
Yeah.
While her family and friends have never pressured her to date, Lauren admitted that they have trouble understanding why she doesn't want to have sex. Because
And it's
she's
interesting that it says she's no particular religion. Most people are still virgins if they save themselves for a husband and are often religious. I don't subscribe to any particular religion at all because I'm not sleeping around and living super modern feminist lifestyle. That camp also doesn't know what to do with me.
hmm,
So it's like I'm too traditional for the feminists, but not traditional enough for the traditional people. So I'm trying to break that barrier.
yeah, she says
She
she
does
maintains
maintain
her high
high
standards.
standards. Yes, I wonder
Doesn't
if
get much
she
higher. Doesn't get much higher. You'd be hard pressed to find.
Yeah, I have to say I really didn't have my husband is really the only person I dated. I was younger, but
Mhm.
um that was my intention. And I
Yeah,
feel if that was I had been I'm 33 now, I feel like that would have been hopefully I can't really say that, but um yeah, I feel like it keeps it kind of protects you emotionally in a lot of ways. Like being sexually involved with someone is very there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of mental uh toll. There's a mental toll that it takes on a person, not just like there are physical consequences as well. But and honestly to me, like I would see that they would show you that little that diagram
hmm,
um or that you ever see that picture where they show you if you have this many sexual partners and then if you have this many sexual partners it's as if you had sex with like all these people and that like
yes,
freaked me out. Like that was enough. Like that should be every time you log on to Tinder you should have to see that. Like any of these apps, like every
I
time you go on
agree.
a hookup app you should have to see that. Be like, all right, do you real obviously they're trying to encourage. And hey, people meet their spouses on those accounts, so I'm not necessarily. I did have somebody just tell me recently that those are not for meeting people, those are for hookups, but nonetheless I have heard of people using them just to meet a partner, and I've met many people that have met their partners that way. But
I
like I
worked with a
said, this
girl who met her
yeah,
fiance on Tinder.
yeah,
They got
yeah.
divorced in about six
Oh,
months, but
oh, okay.
nevertheless, she did meet her future husband on Tinder.
Oh my- I
So,
really didn't expect you to say but the hookup culture, yes, is just alarming. Like those kids, maybe they stopped showing those images and those graphics in school or something. But I don't think that it's something that you should necessarily have a prejudice against somebody for. It's not necessarily something that you should dismiss somebody over. But I will say it's hard not to have, and I really feel like you said for men for whatever reason, and maybe for women too. I can't, yeah, I would say women probably struggle with that, hearing that their partner has had a high body count. But I feel as though, like you said, you're just kind of being honest about it. It does bother you. It is something that, and I feel like if
oh yeah.
most people were honest, they would agree. They would probably say that. There might be few people that that isn't really a turn off for them. That's not really a deal breaker. But I would wager that if we're telling the truth, that most people are not really excited to hear the numbers ticking up.
Oh my
Like
God,
they're just,
especially
yeah.
guys. Like I feel like for guys, it's like one is too much. It's like one. There's been, ooh, how did that happen? Like it's
Well, maybe
very
it's a
off-putting.
territorial thing for guys too. Like maybe it's like like this is mine. Like this is my.
It
But
is.
I feel as if it's also having listened to I listened to the show. It's a therapist show, And he's, he has people call in with relationship issues. And I did hear a gentleman call in talking about his wife having previous partners. Now, in his situation, his wife, he found out, was actually an escort in her past, before pre-meeting him.
So she likely had a very high body
Yes,
count.
yeah. I'm not necessarily sure about that because I don't I don't know,
I'm
but
sure it varies from hooker
clearly,
to hooker, like how
yes,
many
yeah.
clients they've
She
serviced.
actually not just was like a street hooker. It sounded like she actually was more of a high end, maybe like paid, like not paid, but she had like an application, so maybe it was like a high end
A
escort.
high-end escort, like
But
almost like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
yes, yeah. So and he sounded like a really young, wonderful, nice guy. They were having a baby, she was pregnant, and it was so difficult for him, and it really wrecked their intimacy because, like you said, then he's thinking about her. It becomes
Every
just
Tom,
this.
Dick, and Harry,
Yes,
like,
well, I think it just
what did they
becomes,
do?
yeah, like it becomes a real mental trigger for people and becomes a source of anxiety and stress and comparison. And interesting enough, it as we're talking about it and actually thinking about him, it's not necessarily to it. I think a lot of us think that men don't like women to have a lot of sexual partners because then she's cheap and she's used goods and it's a patriarchal approach. But like you're saying, and like I heard this young man said, it was actually more about him. Like he was more, am I measuring up? He wasn't upset about her. He was worried about how he was able to perform for her because she had so much previous
Correct.
experience. So I believe that we have this notion, this preconceived notion that women should not have sexual partners because then you'll be cheap, because there is some context for that, because okay, you need to be a virgin. Like there's this whole, she needs to be virginal, and that's very important because once you
Preferably.
are, yeah, but really for men, it seems that it's more they have anxiety about themselves, and not really that, oh no, now she's garbage, she's cheap and she's used. It's not.
You're absolutely correct, Karen. It is
That's a,
more
yeah,
of a personal thing for men, worried
I
about
do.
measuring up, worried about
Yeah.
performing, worried about, not meeting the perceived standard that said
Mhm.
young lady might have. But
Yeah.
I'll be quite candid with you here. I have been in situations, past dates, whatever you want to call them, where the other party has like borderline tried to force themselves on me, and I found it to be quite a turnoff. Like I was not like, you would think like a typical guy would take advantage of such a situation. It was very off-putting to me. I was like, what is this? What you want me to we this is the first time we're meeting. What the hell?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
all very off-putting to
Yeah.
me personally. Now, some
You're
guys,
like, "You haven't been tested.
yeah,
I don't know your
right.
ancestry.
Right, yeah,
I don't have a
exactly.
DNA test."
Can you spit in this cup, and we're gonna need to wait like a couple weeks here. I want to know. There's a lot of details I need to know here, you know, before we
Yeah, I have a lot of
proceed forward.
questions. I have a whole application you need to
With
process.
this girl though, I bet you I can get her to convert to Catholicism probably. Like I have a strong feeling that if I met her, this Lauren, she and I would really hit it off. I'll travel with her for sure. I would like to do that's one of the reasons why I don't travel actually, because it's like, well, what the hell? Am I gonna go to like Peru by myself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you need a travel partner. You really do. Traveling alone, I feel like it's it's romanticized to a certain extent, like these solo travel. I disagree. I feel like I've spent enough time alone. I don't want to go to a foreign country alone. So like I could travel with her. I'm sure she would be into cats. um I just feel like I don't even know this girl. I'm just judging based off of a picture, but what I'm trying to say is she seems like a very nice, a lovely girl. I would like to set up a meeting with her. I just have a feeling I have this whole image of her, going through like catechism and everything, and then we'll have children, we'll have a nice little family. It'll be like the lost American dream almost, because we don't really
The
have
lost, yes,
much of an
no.
American dream
What
anymore.
what is the American dream today? What do
Is
you
to be an
think?
influencer, is to be a
I,
TikToker, an
amen.
Instagrammer. That's really what it boils down to nowadays.
Yes, yeah, and not everybody can do that. So I think that's even like being phased out as the dream, because there's only so many people that can sell Super Beats and AG1 to the
Right.
population. And Colin and I are going to be one of those people. So AG1, please. I mean, look at this guy. He needs some super greens, okay? If he had super greens, Lauren would be on the call right now, right? That was her name, right? It was Lauren on the
Yeah,
other.
yeah. What was, I have to read her full name here again. She is just, I'm just
Lauren
looking at this
Boebert.
photo of her. Not now Lauren Boebert. She has I bet you she's got quite the body count. No offense to Lauren Boebert. I actually
We're
like
gonna
her.
get a defamation suit.
I Lauren
Just
Lauren
kidding. You know,
Boebert,
she
I
just
like you.
laughed. She
Yeah,
probably would laugh at that. She'd be like,
pro-
Colin, let's get a
probably.
drink and shoot some guns.
La- Shoot some pool. Lauren Harkins. That is this lovely young lady's name. She's 33 years old, and I want to get this date set up. I want things to move forward here. I have a positive feeling about it. So that's my whole wrap on this Lauren chick and women with high body counts. These are my feelings on the subject.
All right. No, I think it's an interesting subject, and it's a subject that's being talked about a lot. And maybe we'll save some child from making some poor decisions because of this very informative, important
Hey, you
conversation.
laugh, but like I feel like we're talking to a large population right now. We're talking to the world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I
Mm-hmm.
approach every broadcast, as you know, Karen, because I am just that's the only way to approach a podcast, a broadcast, radio show, whatever. You're talking to the world. The
We're talking
world
to the
is,
world right now. The
yeah,
world
they're
is
hanging on our
listening.
every word here.
Yes,
So
absolutely. 100%. I'm talking to you though. I feel like I'm conversing with you, but I guess that's
I feel like I'm talking to you,
in the
but I
world.
feel like we're in like a coliseum or something, or
Okay.
an arena, and we're surrounded. There's wall to wall people. I'm having a conversation with you, but there's a lot of eavesdroppers here, which is
Okay. Yeah, that's
really
one
what a
way to,
podcast
yeah,
should be.
that's one way to, yeah. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. But well, that took a turn I didn't expect us necessarily to take today. And as always, but also some big news coming out from our beautiful home state of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of
The
Pennsylvania.
great Commonwealth of
And
Pennsylvania, where I grew up, born and raised.
it seems as if Kamala Harris, vice president, now presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, might be choosing the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro,
Who we
as
just
her
both learned
running mate.
about. I don't even
Pretty
think you knew
much.
who the governor was.
Pretty much. So like I just learned a lot about his background. I do have to say that pretty much that sums it up. Like nobody in Pennsylvania, if you went into the town I live in right now and put a gun to 90% of their heads and said, "Who is the governor of Pennsylvania?" before last week, because now he's in the news a little bit, before he was a running mate, candidate, they would have no idea. Nobody would know who the governor is. Everybody knew Governor Wolf because he shut down everything.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah,
say, like,
yeah.
Wolf is notorious because of COVID.
Yeah.
And Shapiro, like I
Ben
does
Shapiro.
yeah, that's exactly who you think of when you hear the last name Shapiro. But yeah, I
Yes.
guess this guy, I'm assuming that, I mean, things could change, but I'm assuming that Kamala is going to announce him as the Veep in Philly on Tuesday.
That's the word on the street. Apparently, the mayor of Philadelphia accidentally released a video of her congratulating Governor Shapiro. But maybe this was just pre-taped. This happens. When you see the Super Bowl, they bring out shirts with both. They print shirts for both teams to be the winner of the trophy. And just like that, maybe she just preemptively decided to record this footage. And because today, Kamala Harris, this is recording on a Sunday. Kamala Harris is meeting at the Naval Observatory, from what I understand, is where she's at. Very, very official sounding, very commander in chief, uh, just that aesthetic. But she's
Wine
meeting
mom
with
in chief.
three individuals, wine mom and chief. So she's meeting with three individuals who are contenders. And a lot of people are saying that Shapiro is going to be the pick. I actually spoke with somebody who used to be involved in politics, and he told me that way well before Biden dropped out, that Kamala would be the candidate with Shapiro as the vice presidential candidate on the ticket. But he wasn't like privy to anything. Maybe he just had heard that somewhere. It's not like he was like involved with it. He was on the Republican side when he was involved in politics. So I did remember him saying that. And when he told me, I just thought, oh, that sounds bizarre. Like nobody knows that guy. Really? They're gonna run Kamala?
I had a friend who
Sure
was like
enough.
saying that it might be Shapiro. A friend who lives in Pennsylvania who I went to high school with, and I was that it kind of took me off guard as well too, because number one, who is this guy? I can't picture him. Number
Yeah.
two, why him? Why pick somebody with such little recognition
Yes.
nationwide?
Yes. And you think they would pick somebody like a little bit stronger to go along with Kamala?
A
Uh and
name. I think it
and
has to be like a name
yeah,
that people
yeah.
are familiar
It's
with.
just to I would want to bring along someone who instills confidence in the American people, because I feel like a lot of Kamala's biggest drawback is that she seems, well, incompetent. She seems drunk half the time. So I would believe that they would want to have somebody, and maybe Shapiro is that guy, but I'm going to tell you right now, we don't know anything about him. We never see the governor talk. I mean,
We've been learning. I've been learning some
yes.
things about him that I was filling
Yeah,
you in on.
yes, we are
I
we are learning some details about Shapiro, who was formerly the attorney general. But my favorite thing about Shapiro right now is that he has a little bit of a beef with the wonderful, great U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania, our boy, John Fetterman, everybody's favorite senator,
America's senator.
America's senator. Our boy, John Fetterman, actually, from according to the New York Post, he sent a memo to Kamala. He warned Harris's campaign about Josh Shapiro after a years old beef. So apparently, back when Fetterman was the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania and Shapiro was the attorney general, they sat on the pardons board, and you had to they had a vote for who was pardoned. These two brothers came up, and Shapiro wanted them to be set free. Shapiro declined it. And so apparently this led to some kind of beef where Fetterman is saying that the guy is not about policy. He's kind of all about himself. He just wants to make a name for himself.
That's
And
Kamala. They're like the
yes,
perfect pair. She's
yes,
not
they are
about
kind of
pop.
the,
What does
yeah,
she stand
yeah.
for?
That's
Like,
the amazing thing to me about like it's kind of, honestly, I'm at a point where I'm ready to just go into politics. Like if Kamala Harris could be the president, like any moron can do this. And I understand she has intelligent parents but let's be real. It's kind of weird that she dated a guy, had an affair with a guy who was 30 years older than her when she was 29. And then she was dating Montel Williams. Like, this person is an attention seeker. And really, like, I mean, I know Trump is an attention seeker in a lot of ways, but I mean, at least
In
he's
a
done
different way.
something. Like, she's literally just pursued all of this to feel important. And it's kind of just icky. Like, there's just something that's just not.
Well, in a way, she's like the perfect politician. I mean, what else could she do? Because politicians, what are they? You know, they always say like politics is Hollywood for ugly people, and it's for people who really don't have any other talents to speak of. You know,
Well,
it's
then
like,
maybe I should go into this because, like, I have literally no talent. So
oh,
maybe
what do
I'm
you
destined for politics.
this what do you call this? You're speaking articulately and
That's what
intelligently
politicians
about the matters
used
of
to
the
do.
day.
Yeah, yeah, that used to be. I would say that that's what a politician does, but considering the people that are up at the top are Biden, Trump, and Kamala, I'd say that it's pretty much we've thrown out professional decorum,
Yeah, you know what?
articulate. Yeah, like
We always
really.
complain about like, jobs and work on this podcast. I feel like maybe that is my exit ramp. Going into politics, running as, yeah, you know what though? It would get too carried away for me though, because I'm not willing to compromise on certain things. I feel like I would be too, some of the thoughts and ideas that I would bring to the table might be perceived as a little too radical for the
Like, why don't we
mainstream.
have a monarchy? Why
Uh,
don't we make Trump the
You're
dictator?
you're I mean, you're getting warm.
Why
You're getting
don't we
warm.
make Mel Gibson the emperor of the
Uh,
world? I
You're
don't understand
warmer,
either.
warmer, hot, scalding hot.
So yeah, I understand that we essentially are radicals for Mel Gibson, and that I just feel like you said that just doesn't play well in the political arena. That would be called on the carpet. Can you imagine being in a debate? Collin, you have gone on the record saying that Mel Gibson should be the emperor. Let me check note. Emperor of the world. Do you stand by those words?
I would just have like, I would pull up sound bites
Sound
of his
bites.
call with Oksana. I'd be like, well, listen to this. I think this I think that these recordings speak for themselves. And my
Yes.
answer is an emphatic yes,
And just
obviously.
get roaring applause. Everybody just agrees with you. And they're like,
I mean,
yeah,
once they
Mel,
hear
Mel.
smile and blow me, everybody's gonna everybody who isn't gonna get
What
a,
male
a,
vote
a
won't I get? And women
yeah,
will just bow down to Mel
ex-
and his power.
exactly, his toxic masculinity.
But yeah, so like you said, but politics, yeah, Kamala has really inspired me. Like, JFK inspired people to do for the country and to go into politics and make a difference. And I feel like Kamala has inspired me that I too can get the highest job in the land by kind of just, I guess, dating people and selling
Doing
out
favors.
my yeah, doing favors, selling out my beliefs, just saying whatever needs to be said, going to parties, laughing, and just being all around just, I guess, incompetent. And I don't necessarily say she's incompetent. I don't want to say that because I guess at some point in time she worked in some fashion, but I really feel like she's inspired me that, like, I too can make millions of dollars were hanging out with lobbyists and pretty much not really be that special or really do anything, like, I think that
It's just
that's
like,
or work very hard. Like, I think that that's inspiring for women like me that just don't, just are not good at anything.
And you think about it, she's like an upgraded puppet, because Biden was undoubtedly a puppet, but like his batteries are draining, and
Mm,
the batteries are irreplaceable at this point, so they needed an upgraded puppet. And like, why not like a biracial woman? She's Indian, she's black, she's a woman, she's reasonably attractive. She's just here to reap the benefits of these positions. So really, she is like the New World Order's ultimate
grifter.
little
Grifter in
marionette.
chief. She's just a grifter in chief. That's what she
Yeah,
is. Like you said, like,
pretty
okay,
much.
yeah, you want me to sell this? Yeah, sure, that's fine. I'll do
Because we
that.
know
That's no big
now, like, the
deal.
president is not making any real decisions. Like, we know that now after 4 years of Biden, right? Like,
Yes, yeah.
anybody could be the president. It's now more evident than ever that it is a symbolic figurehead position.
It's yeah. Well,
At
I
the end of the
believe
day, it could be anybody.
yeah, I believe that I read an article this week that Reagan coined the phrase, from what I understand, it was Reagan. Reagan coined the phrase personnel is policy. It is the people that you are surrounded by. It is the people that are in those top jobs or in. I believe that also in this article it outlined that the executive branch, I believe, has like the office has about 4,000 employees that do most of the bidding and the work and the influence kind of in that department. So
Do we
like
need
you said,
4,000? What
yeah,
about
no,
a
yeah,
hundred?
yeah, like yeah, what
Couldn't we whittle
you know
that
what
down a little bit?
we need the United States government needs to hire a consulting firm because a consulting firm is going to come in. We need private equity to purchase the US government, just like they've done with Dunkin' Donuts, they've done with a lot of different brands and Toys R Us. Like we need private equity to get in there and streamline things and kind of decide like, okay, let's separate the wheat from the chaff here. And I think that that's really the only way that we kind of correct all of that is just for private so we could all get stock in the well, I guess only some people would be able to get stock in private equity, but I really feel like somebody's got to get in there. And that's what I think Trump kind of wants to do. I think that that was a lot of, but will he be able to do it?
I feel like he's lost his way.
I
And
feel
I'll tell
like
you what,
he's yeah, not
I
going to happen.
I think that people have really underestimated just how unlikable Vance is, and just how unpopular of a decision this was. And I'll give you two examples. Now, these are two family examples, but they come from people who have voted for Donald Trump twice. So number one, I was talking to my cousin, and she was asking me, she's like, "Did you hear this thing that JD Vance said about how if you don't have children, then you should have less of a say in the democratic process?" Now this is a woman who voted for Donald Trump twice, is probably going to vote for Donald Trump again, but she heard, she watched JD Vance say this, and she doesn't have children of her own. She's married, but she doesn't have any kids. And she was very turned off by that sentiment from Vance. And I can see a lot of other people being turned off by that. People who don't have kids, can't have kids, whatever. I think that the whole childless cat lady comment, I sort of agree with the sentiment of it, but also it's just sort of a, oh, I don't know. It's almost like a bro thing to say. It's like a stupid bro thing to
Mm,
say. It's
mm,
like you're trying to get it's like you're
yeah,
trying to get like
bombastic.
likes on Facebook or
Yeah,
something from
yeah,
like
yeah, clout.
from the conservative bros. And then I was talking yesterday when I went over to my other family's house for SummerSlam. I was talking to my old MAGA uncle. I walk in the door. He greeted me. He answered the door. You know. Now my cousin is it's a very interesting dynamic in that household,
Mm.
because my uncle, is very more conservative, Trump supporter, Trump voter, one of those guys I think who probably never voted in his life until Donald Trump. I don't
I know
know
a
if
few
I'm
of those
accurate about that,
people.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those people. And then there's my cousin, on the other hand, super far left in the other direction, as anti-Trump as it gets, voted for Hillary, voted for Biden. And, he's outside cooking, and my uncle's like trying to make sure that he's like still involved in the cooking because he wants to talk to me. He's like, so what do you think of Vance? And I sort of like I gave him like a thumbs down, and I sort of made a face, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he concurred with my sentiment. He was like, yeah, I agree. Why not Ben Carson? And I said to him, you know what, I think Ben Carson now would have been a better choice, because as much as I make fun of Ben Carson for being robotic and monotonous, monotone and sleepy, he is. You agree?
Hmm.
He's not the
Oh
most
yeah. I
not
had
the
to
most
listen to a
exciting.
recent interview of his on like double time. Like nice guy, but
Oh yeah,
I was like shocked how slow he spoke. I don't think
yeah.
I even recall that from before, which like I said, smart, way smarter than I am,
Oh, he's a neurosurgeon,
but
right?
just very, yes, very, and like I said, maybe that's just the way he probably thinks about what he says, whereas I just say things and then I think I shouldn't have said that,
Yeah, we
but
just blurt shit
nonetheless,
out all the
we
time.
just I'm like motor mouth here, yeah,
Yeah. But he's not the most exciting,
yes, he is
entertaining guy,
inspired,
is what I'm
yes,
saying.
yeah,
But now I'm in the camp of like, shit, I wish he would have picked Ben Carson, because I think that there is this there is a sentiment of, why did Trump pick this guy, and what's wrong with his face? I'm sorry, but that is real sentiment that exists right now. He's got these beady eyes, he's got this ferret face, and I'm not trying to belittle this guy's appearance. I'm just stating a fact here.
I
People are
just
put
love
off by
that.
this guy.
I just love that because like my brother Pat looks so much like Vance that it's hilarious when
I know you always bring that up when I'm
everybody,
like
and it's not
pairing
just me.
Vance.
It's not just me. It's like everybody he knows texted, like so many people texted him and said, like, are you running for vice president? So I love when you say
It's,
his face because my brother does have a very like plush, we all have like kind of round faces in my family. So he's a very like kind of teddy bearish
he doesn't
plush
have those eyes
face.
though. There's something
Not those
about this guy's
eyes.
eyes.
I
It's
don't know. My
just
brother has very, very dark eyelashes too. So I know that Vance, his eyes are different. My brother has beautiful blue eyes, but I'm not sure if you're talking about Vance's eyes or his eyelashes.
oh, his eyeliner that he wears. I'm
My
pretty I'm
brother
pretty
looks like he wears eyeliner too. I'm telling
Is
you, they
JD
are.
Vance your brother? Like, is that what you're trying to say here? Like, it seems like all roads are leading to my
No,
brother
no,
is JD
no. But
Vance,
I did
actually.
actually with Vance. So I read his book Hillbilly Elegy. A friend of mine who is debating on voting, who did not vote previously in the last two elections, from what I understand, at least not the last. He is contemplating voting for Kamala Harris. But when I got married, he gave me Hillbilly Elegy because he knew I would be interested in the topic in the book. And it occurred to me that with Vance, I always keep coming back to the book. I said, I love this book. I love his book. I love what he kind of wrote about.
You've
I
mentioned.
think he's right on a lot of that. But it occurred to me kind of like this inception. I had this like inception moment where I thought, was the book originally just put out for a future Vance political strategy? And
Because it was a
was
Netflix
it
movie,
thought
too.
about that far ahead of time? Like this book came out in 2016, so now it is about 8 years ago. But I read Obama's book back when I was in college, Dreams for My Father. He also wrote Audacity of Hope. But if you think about it, these books kind of establish you and familiarize you with this person. They also write a narrative about who this person is. So it makes you comfortable with that person. So, like I said, I mean, reading the book, I feel as if Vance was very genuine in the book. I feel like the story was very real. But at the same time, you kind of think to yourself, you think back like the chicken or the egg. Like, do I just kind of like Vance now? Because even I'm kind of ignoring all the signs because I read this book.
And there's a lot of them.
And was that the purpose of the book from the get go? from the start that the book was supposed to familiarize and have us be comfortable and like this individual so that they eventually would go into politics and you would already be familiarized with them, with their story, where they come from. So like I said, I think I keep thinking that I do want to say with him, with the topic of the people without children, I do feel in some ways he I don't think that that's he put it properly, and I don't believe that that is a good idea what he was outlining. But I also do want to just put it out there that in some ways I think he's speaking to these like very uh feminist, ultra feminist, kind of like very child hating, child free people. I don't think he really intended it to hurt people that struggle to have children
So he's speaking to like Chelsea,
yes.
the Chelsea handlers of the
He's talking to
world,
the
is what you're
Chelsea
saying.
handlers who really would, would offer up children to Molech. Like, I think that that's the kind of people that he's talking about that are so strongly like, I'm not going to have children because I don't want to make any sacrifices and it's all about me and who cares about these children, and they're not invested in the future, and they're
I
not
just want to
invested
prove
in
I can do this
children.
better than my parents. Like
Yeah.
there's so many mistakes that I want to correct. I want to be like to them, like this is how you do it. This was the right thing to do.
You just
You
want to prove
see?
it.
You know, especially with my father, like, no, here you don't yell at them and berate them while you're trying to while you when you ask them for help. You know, you no, here's how you mow the lawn, son. Here's how you exercise patience. And that I just a little side
Just a
thing for
little.
me. I didn't mean to throw you
Just
off.
we were getting a little far off from our BetterHelp session, so we needed to make sure we got a little bit back on track.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that maybe have that same. I hope that Lauren Harkins also feels strongly about that she would like to prove her parents.
Oh, we would have beautiful children. They would be tall and blonde and blue eyes, just like the master, the master race basically is what these kids would look. They would be like Greek gods
Yeah,
essentially.
essentially. Yeah. So, but I think that JD Vance, I think he was just trying to make a point to these people that are just they're loudly child free. They think that they're very arrogant about it, and they're selfish, and they're all about themselves, and not sacrificial, and not, and I don't want to say maternal, but you understand what I'm saying. Like they just are as our beloved Trump would put, they're just nasty women. Okay. I think that
Yeah,
that's really who he was calling out, not
he can't
necessarily,
articulate
but
that
he
though
did
because
not.
he's
Yes.
he's not
Yeah.
he's not this down to earth homie, I'm from Appalachia. He was putting those people down in the book. That's why it was called Hillbilly Elegy. You know what an elegy is? It's like
The
something you say at a funeral, right?
funeral.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna push back about him. I've heard people say that he was putting those people down, but I think what he was really trying to outline in the book is that we there's a lot of, and living, we are both from the coal region of Pennsylvania, so we know, we've seen this up front and personal, and you see a lot of people, and this is in a lot of communities across the United States where they are emasculating the culture, and a lot of these jobs left, and people have grown up. There's been now generations of people who have grown up with no hope and no belief that they can live the American dream. Like they have a belief, not necessarily just the American dream, but they're constantly being told that they cannot achieve anything. And what I believe Vance was trying to push back against, which Nick Fuentes has also pushed back against, is that white people and all Americans, but Vance was speaking specifically to conservative white Americans, that you should not get this notion that affirmative action and DEI and all these different all these different programs, or Obama or Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, is out to get you, and you can't achieve anything in this country. And we do see a lot of that happening. I feel like a lot of conservatives have gotten this idea that we're so handcuffed by the establishment and by the left wing and progressives that we can't achieve anything in this country. And I think that is the beginning of the end. And that is so important for people to understand. That is why there is a war on white men, because they are last to break. Go visit the Navajo Nation. I went there back in 2017, and there's billboards about drug abuse and alcoholism, because the people that, I hate to say it, but the settlers who came through and the US government, they emasculated the Native American culture, and they didn't have men to look up to as strong figures anymore. And they felt subservient to the people that settled those territories. And we see how that has just decimated the culture of the Native Americans. Not all Native American cultures, not all Native American societies, but also you see in the Black communities, the emasculation of the loss of strong male figures has completely decimated these communities. So where's the last front? Where's the last front on completely destroying the people and the population? It is the white males. The white males are standing between freedom and complete slavery to a globalized system. And like, that is why they are on overdrive to have all the women believe that the white males are the devil. They're out to get us. We have to bring down the patriarchy. I'm in favor of the patriarchy. Okay. We need
a
little
strong patriarchy
We
in
need
order
a little
to
bit of, yeah,
have
we
a
don't, but
society.
we need men that are sacrificial, and we need men that are real men, not this Andrew Tate version of masculinity. We need real sacrificial men, not this locker room masculinity.
I
I
like
love
the
that you
Andrew
laughed
Tate
at.
mess,
Yeah,
just sitting
I know you
around
do.
smoking
Yeah,
cigars, just hanging out,
putting
ordering
girls
a
on
pizza.
call cameras. But
You're right.
to be honest with you, what are we missing? What are we missing? We're missing God. We're missing truth. We're missing morality, and that's why. And let's be real. A lot of the reason why we're in the circumstances we're in is because the men did have control. And it says in the Bible about how you've made your wives and your daughters into whores. And when the men were in control in this country, that is what they did, and they're suffering the consequences. But we need to fight back. We need to have, as Nick Fuentes says, we need to have 7 children each, all of us,
We
and turn this
well,
country around.
really, like, I feel like that entire beautiful diatribe that you just went off of.
Sorry, I was laid back today, but go ahead.
No, I want somebody to make, like, I want somebody to just clip that and put the Creed song "My Sacrifice" in the background. I feel like it would just be beautiful. But I feel like all of this sort of goes back to how we need to get back to religion, right? We need to get back to God. I feel like there is a resurgence of that. And I feel like if more people just got back to that, then everything else would sort of fall into place. Everything that you were just laying out would fall into
Yeah, it
place if
would.
we all got back to that.
Absolutely.
Because inherently, the values, all the values that you were just describing can be found in religion. So,
Yes, yeah. And we do not live in a theocracy, but we enjoy the
but yeah,
benefits of what the Christian faith outlined, what the Christian, the 10 commandments and Jesus's teachings. We've benefited. That is, our society has benefited. How do we have some dark history? Absolutely, but a lot of those wrongs have been righted, and we can't force morality on people. We see Trump. I think that's one of the reasons why he chose Vance, because I think he sees Vance as a moral military guy, a veteran. And I think he sees a lot of what he wishes he and his sons were in Vance. And I think that's why he chose him. But unfortunately, I think for Vance, I think his biggest problem is he tried to become too much Trump. He tried to emulate Trump, and if he would have just been himself, I feel like he wouldn't be in as much trouble right now. I
but
think he
here's the
would have
thing:
been, yeah.
who is Who
That's a
is
good
he?
question.
What
And
is
I don't know that
himself?
answer. I don't know. And maybe I don't like that
Maybe
person.
he
So
can't be himself
maybe there is no self.
because, well, all I'm saying is that his Senate run, he was given $12 million by Peter Thiel, who was I believe the owner of Palantir. He's a big CIA contractor, CIA, NSA, big tech Orwellian surveillance program guy. That's who financed JD Vance's political ascent. So I'm sorry, but you can't. That's just impossible for me to ignore. I feel like most Americans certainly haven't really gone that far down the rabbit hole. But once you go down the rabbit hole, it's like, wow, this is like as bad as it gets as far as having somebody who is so embedded in the surveillance state. That's sort of what I see when I look at Vance. I don't trust him, and I feel like people like my uncle, who I was telling you about, he certainly has not
He's
gone down that rabbit hole, but something inside of him is
is
like, huh,
suspicious. Is
something is off
suspicious.
here. Something is weird about this guy. So that's
I'm surprised that he picked him with all of the record of things that Vance has said about Trump that were pretty significant. Some of the
the
criticism
American
and the
Hitler.
comments. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
about as,
that's the one thing that surprises me is that Trump still chose him despite a lot of the vitriol that he had for Trump. So it should be interesting to see. And of course, speaking of Trump, we have to talk about our very exciting horoscopes. I shouldn't say ours, they're Sally Brompton's. We do this as a joke, but it'll also probably lead to a dark future for Colin and I, a future of dark arts in our lives if we don't return to the light because we're playing with fire here with these
yeah, we're
horoscopes.
basically dabbling in witchcraft for
Witchcraft.
all intents and
Well,
purposes.
it's because we're looking forward to basic witch season. And it's the only way for us to bring a little bit of the basic witch into the summer and all year long. So we just need a little sprinkling of the base. It's really to just appeal to the basic witch segment of our audience. So we just like to kind of, just
Which
play
I
to
hope to
them.
grow, quite
I hope to
frankly.
grow. I think that they would enjoy us immensely. So we will start with the one and only Donald Trump. I'm going to make sure I refresh my page because I don't want to I'm worried that I haven't opened this since last week and then it's going to be like
Yeah, you want to make sure that it's Sunday, August 4th, up to
okay.
date.
Yes, I do believe it is. So Sunday, August 4th. I think it's my cousin's birthday. Shoot. Okay.
Oh, well,
Is it
happy
is
birthday,
it is it
Karen's cousin.
Obama's birthday today? His birthday is the same as Obama. So whichever should we just
Let's
be
see.
reading that because Obama is going to take over and become the Muslim dictator of America.
Obama, yeah, it is Obama's birthday.
Oh,
Wow.
so it is my cousin's. Okay.
Happy birthday, Barry, 63.
All right.
Born born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm sure he was. Sure that's what the birth certificate says. Um for Donald Trump, who is a Gemini, the path you have been on late has been difficult, but you have proved time and again that you are up to the job. Another challenge is about to come your way, and there is no doubt at all you will tackle it with purpose and poise.
Well, we still do have, like, what is it? It's August,
So,
September,
yeah,
October, November, 3 months. So I'm sure he does have more challenges that lie ahead of him for
absolutely.
sure. Um,
I do fear for when I felt the day after I didn't really dabble in the conspiracies. I didn't really worry too much about that. I thought perhaps it really was just a radicalized young
Alone Nut
individual, a lone gunman.
with
Uh,
three names, just like they
yes,
always
yes,
have.
that they
They've always got
always,
three
yeah,
names.
yeah. But I did immediately think I don't know if it's quite over. I don't know if it's quite over. So we'll have to see. There's like you said, there's plenty of time. before November.
3 months is like an eternity practically
Yes.
in political time. So who knows what's going to go down.
And now we are going to read for Kamala Harris, who might be at this very moment meeting with these vice presidential contenders. Today, for Kamala Harris, there are so many opportunities available to you now that it may be hard to decide which one of them to focus on. If you are smart, you will choose no more than two objectives, at least one of which most benefit other people as much as yourself. Well, she can't
Wait
pick
a
two
second.
candidates.
Wait a second. Read that last sentence of her horoscope.
At least one of which must benefit other people as much as yourself. She needs to
Okay.
choose no more than two objectives.
So it must benefit other people, must benefit another country, perhaps. uh we were saying, we don't want to go off too much on this. We're about to wrap up, but the potential VP pick, Shapiro, he is a dual citizen of another country, and he did serve in their military. He didn't serve in our military, he served in their military. This other country, this other foreign country that he's a dual citizen of. So maybe that's what that horoscope is
I
kind of.
feel as though you should have to renounce any other citizenships to serve in
Absolutely.
the at least the vice president and the president role,
I don't care what kind.
right?
I don't care if you're a dual citizen of, Peru or
Or Greenland, or which I think
Greenland.
is Denmark, but yeah, like
Yeah.
no matter where, yeah, Canada
Yeah. Right.
or
Right. No, you must.
Mexico, or
You're a.
no, like
It's
you're
America first.
it's America. Yeah. Yeah, I completely are on board with that. So like I said, I don't think it matters what country. It could be Monaco, but I feel like
Yeah.
you should have to.
You
I mean,
cannot maintain that.
Switzerland makes you give up citizenship of any other country to gain Swiss citizenship. I'm not
That's
sure
how it
if
should be.
you might be able to have dual citizenship in Switzerland, but from what I understand, I know that Tina Turner became before her passing became a citizen of Switzerland. She had to denounce her U.S. citizenship in order to be a citizen of Switzerland. So why for at least the president and vice president, you should have to give that up. There's no way
And this is
that
Switzerland.
should fly. Yes, Switzerland.
Switzerland must be awesome. Like if
It
you're,
must be. They're like they've got high standards over there, don't they?
it, it must be like a paradise on earth. Honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
they're beautiful people too, aren't they?
Uh, I guess I'm not really 100% sure about
Maybe I'm
that,
thinking of
but
Swedes. I get Sweden
Sweden,
and Switzerland.
Sweden, I think is what you're thinking of.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But
Well,
still, like you said, like everybody's got a gun. You can only be a citizen of their country. I'm not really sure about if you're born there, you might be able to have dual citizenship. From what I understand, I do know when Tina Turner became a citizen because I followed her very closely. No, I'm kidding.
of course you did.
But I do recall that she had to denounce her U.S. citizenship in order to become
Hmm.
a citizen of Switzerland. So they don't screw around over there like we do. They take their nation seriously.
Unlike
Switzerland
us.
first, yeah. Ours is just Ours is yeah. Yeah. It's a problem. Let's put it that
Ours
way.
is the citizens last. As a matter of fact, let's depopulate the citizens and let's give most of their money to other countries. But I digress. We got to wrap up here. I think those were two very interesting, telling horoscopes, Karen. And like I said, we got 3 months to go, so we shall see what happens. But hey, this has been fun, right? It's been
Hmm.
a fun little conversation, little podcast, and I think that about wraps it up here. So please, everybody, I hope that you've enjoyed us. I hope that you've stuck in there for this past hour. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a like, please. Give us a like. We're very desperate for likes and subscribers at this point. We
Any
really want to get this.
validation Colin
Yeah, we
can get.
need.
Yes, he needs this to get through the week. Come on, people.
Yeah, otherwise I don't know how I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna end up like Michael Douglas in the movie Falling Down. Go check that out if you haven't. But seriously, subscribe to us, give us a like, subscribe on Rumble. give us a follow on X. And we'll be back right here once again next week with another enlightening, fun filled edition of the ReEducation Camp podcast. We'll see you guys then.